Hello and welcome to the 11th week of Season 20, Season of Defiance, starting on May 9th, 2023. So for week 11, let's have a look at our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blindwell features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Agonon's Abyss, which can be located over in the Baildrowned Wishes Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line. The Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare Resortal in Sorrow's Harbour. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Taniks, Isolation, Zydron, Servitude, and Gaul, Rage. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Critics the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on week 3's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set being available. The weapons available this week are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle Chroma Rush, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher Ignition Code, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Grid Skipper, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Farewell, the Solar Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun Sonja's Tale, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Shattered Cipher, the Arc Precision Frame Fusion Rifle Main Ingredient, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Long Shadow, the Arc Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm The Last Dance, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Shotgun Toil and Trouble, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun Wishbringer, and the Void Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle Last Edition. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Cunning, where the modifier is Scorched Earth, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Also this week you will have Altars of Reflection Choice and Altars of Reflection Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is First Contact, with extra shields, locked loadouts, and extra champions, Barrier and Unstoppable champions, Void Threat, Scorched Earth, Overcharged weapons, Void and Strand surges, Overcharged shotgun, and Galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Backdoor, contest mode enabled, with Barrier and Overload champions, Void Threat, Void and Solar shields, Shocker modifier, with Void and Strand surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Zephyr's Concourse. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDZ. Raids and Dungeons. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the third encounter, Macrocosm, called Cosmic Equilibrium. Players must swap all of the dark planets to the left side of the room and all of the light worlds to the right. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. Players cannot stand on the same plate twice in a single phase. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the fifth encounter, Atheon, called Ensembler's Refrain. Each player teleported can only destroy one oracle in each spawn set. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the second encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100, where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Vault, called Keep Out. Guardians must ensure that no Might of Riven Knights make it into the center chamber during the Vault fight. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Vow the Disciple over on the Throne World, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction, where Guardians must kill all the champions within a few seconds of each other on all rounds. The second encounter, Caretaker, called Base Information, where runners cannot pick up more than one stack of knowledge on each run. The third encounter, the Upender, called Defenses Down. This is where each player cannot kill more than one Taken Knight in total. And the fourth encounter, Rorke, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the Leeching Force before the damage phase. Also, with the Vow the Disciple being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the 390 RPM Void Exotic Pulse Rifle, Collective Obligation. And the Pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Prophecy, over in the Legends tab. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 76 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you have completed 72 out of these 76, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed that you might want to get completed in the next 2 weeks. Pinnacle. Reach power level 1810 by earning Pinnacle rewards for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Trial by Firing Squad. Win multiple rounds in Trials of Osiris for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust and a Trials weapon. Fleeting Glory. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Dredging Up Victory. Complete Gambit matches. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall on Hero difficulty or higher for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust and a Nightfall weapon. Commendation Appreciation. Earn progress for giving 10 commendations in Vanguard, Crucible and Gambit activities for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Lost in Legend. Complete a Lost Sector on Legend or Master for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Acquire the Crucible ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Acquire the Gambit ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And acquire the Vanguard ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And speaking of Bright Dust, we have our 11th Eververse of the season for the week of May 9th, 2023. Available this week for Bright Dust we have the Reigning Champion Exotic Emote for 3,250 Bright Dust, the Plus Shell Exotic Ghost Shell for 2,850 Bright Dust, the Cherry Blossom Entrance Legendary Transmit Effect for 450 Bright Dust, the Rivalry White Sands Legendary Shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Golden Age Wine Legendary Shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Curling Shuffle Exotic Multiplier Emote for 4,250 Bright Dust, the Weightlifter Legendary Emote for 700 Bright Dust, the High Score Legendary Emote for 700 Bright Dust, the Champion Shell Exotic Ghost Shell for 2,850 Bright Dust, the Vie for Glory Exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust, the Victor's Palanquin Exotic Ship for 2,000 Bright Dust, and finally the Guardian Games Projection Legendary Ghost Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. Just want to say thank you for checking out the video today. If you're enjoying this content and have found it helpful and want to hear more, then please hit that subscribe button and check out our show over at twotitansandahunter.com.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily Lost Sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armor you'll find inside. But if you're new to the game or you're using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the Lost Sector normally to have it show up on your map as a Legend/Master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, May 9th will be Skydot 4 on the EDZ for exotic boots, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Shotgun with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Wednesday, May 10th will be the Quarry on the EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void and Solar Elemental Shields, Overcharged Grenade Launcher with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, May 11th will be the Aphelios Rest on the Dream City for exotic chests, Stasis Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Shotgun with Unstoppable and Overload Champions. Friday, May 12th will be the Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void and Solar Elemental Shields, Overcharged Sword with Unstoppable and Overload Champions. Saturday, May 13th will be Perdition on Europa for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void and Arc Elemental Shields, Overcharged Fusion Rifle with Barrier and Overload Champions. Sunday, May 14th will be Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Grenade Launcher with Barrier and Overload Champions. And finally, background to Monday, May 15th will be the Conflux on Nessus for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Trace Rifle with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions.
Lead the way.
The Grandmaster Nightfalls are here, which means if you already have your Conquest Seal, you will be able to select whichever Grandmaster Nightfall you want in any order to gild your title. And with that, our 11th featured Nightfall will see us face off against Belmont in the Glassway over on Europa, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall will require you to own the Beyond Light expansion to play. You will be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with Ascendant Shards in Grandmasters. And this week we'll see the return of double rewards in the Nightfall playlist. So if you want more loot and crafting materials, this will be a good week to get in there, do some farming, and stock up for Season of the Deep. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 7 Barrier and 8 Overload champions, with 3 Solar, 5 Void, and 12 Arc shields. Masters will have 12 Barrier and 12 Overload, with 3 Solar and 8 Arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are Hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champions foe, you will face Barrier and Overload champions, you can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. No. When defeated, Fallen Vandals spawn a webmine at their feet. Void Elemental Threat, 25% increase to Void incoming damage. Overcharge weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Void Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing Void damage. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing Strand damage. Overcharge weapon, 25% bonus damage with grenade launchers. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you'll be unable to change your equipment once this mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fighting falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Pulse and Anti-Barrier Sidearm, Overload Bow, Overload Submachine Gun and Auto Rifle, and Medieval Champion, where glazed fire projectiles that stun unstoppable champions. Swords stun Overload champions on consecutive hits. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalest, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Eriana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword the Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet's Second Chance, which gain a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. And for Overload, the Void Energy Bow Le Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sidearm, the Buzzard. The Buzzard has a base impact of 49, range of 36 and stability of 67. It can roll with Frenzy, Rangefinder and Kinetic Tremors, with Pulse Monitor, Perpetual Motion and Overflow. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. The Guardian Games 2023 continues this week, and as a reminder, Guardian Games is an annual 3-week event which pits class against class against class. Titans, Warlocks and Hunters will have to battle it out and fight for glory across multiple game modes to find out who is the ultimate class. Available for a second week will be the Crucible mode for Guardian games, Supremacy, with the option to matchmake by class. When launching this version of Supremacy, you can matchmake into a team comprised only by your class. So if you're a hunter, you and 5 other hunters will face a team of warlocks or titans. Every Guardian that falls will leave a class-based crest behind, and collecting those is the key to win each match, no matter if they were dropped by a defeated enemy or by a fallen comrade. Focus on recovering the crest to earn points and defeat the opposing classes. There is also a Supremacy quest and 4 torches in the Tower to Light. Guardian Games also brings with it some featured weapons like the 750 RPM aggressive frame submachine gun, the Title. The Title has a base impact of 22, range of 40 and stability of 20. It can roll with Repulsor Brace, Rangefinder and Vorpal, with Offhand Strike, Dynamic Sway Reduction and Threat Detector. And this year's featured Guardian Games weapon to obtain is the Strand Lightweight Frame Scout Rifle, Thraxipos. The Thraxipos has a base impact of 60, range of 30 and stability of 42. It can roll with Cascade Point, Hatchling and Kill Clip, with Offhand Strike, Zen Moment and Moving Target. Both weapons come with the origin trait of Classy Contender, where final blows grant class ability energy. So defend the honour of your class in the Guardian Games. Deposit medallions at the podium and light those torches to earn your rewards. And Lord Shaxx brings Zone Control to the Relentless Crucible playlist for the 11th week of the season. Zone Control is a 66 game mode which emphasises team-based gameplay in capturing zones and not kills. Zone Control forces players to collaborate more actively in capturing and defending zones. Capturing zones dramatically takes longer if only one player tries to do it themselves, with it taking 22.5 seconds to capture the point, whereas 2 can capture within 10 seconds. 3 or more players will capture a zone in 7.5 seconds. Beyond that, capturing a zone will net teams 1 point per capture, and holding onto the point will reward 2 points every 15 seconds per zone, making it essential to lock down areas rather than float between them carelessly. The first team to 125 points will win.
Delightful!
And a good old Saint 14 will be back on Friday at Reset to bring you another weekend of fun in the Trials of Osiris. This will be the penultimate Trials of the season, so if you've still not got your new Immortal submachine gun, or guns that are leaving at the end of the season, like the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Bow, the Whistler's Whim, and Arc Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun, the Inquisitor, then this is the time to get in there and fight. As a reminder, Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 PvP high stakes variant of Elimination. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in the Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, Masterwork material and even Adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you that match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
And that's it for the 11th week of Season of Defiance. Good luck in the games, Guardians. Allons-y!
Guardian down.